Needs a shoulder to cry on.
Hi friends, welcome back to my kitchen. Welcome if you are new. I'm Cheryl, this is Table Full of Joy, and I've got a special recipe for you guys and a special video. This video is in collaboration with my sweet friend Angel McMillan. Go check her channel out. I'll leave a link in the description box for her channel so you can go check her out. Also, I'll leave a link in the description box for the playlist as well for all the amazing YouTube channels that have collaborated with this video and to put out some amazing recipes for you guys for what's for dinner. So go check out the playlist. But first, let's get in the kitchen and let's make this recipe. So this recipe holds a very special place in my heart. This is a recipe that was my grandmother's. It wasn't technically my grandmother's, but it was my grandmother's, the one that made it for me when I was a kid. I always loved it. We used to have it for Sunday supper after church, and it was always something that I look forward to her making all the time. It just is a really comforting casserole, really comforting recipe. This time of year when it's cold and fall setting in or winter or whatever, this is the time of year she would make this dish for me because I was a super picky kid. Let's face it, the list of things that I would eat was a lot shorter than the list of things that I would not eat because I was super, super picky. Vegetables were not my thing. I would eat green beans, canned corn, raw carrots, iceberg lettuce. That was it. That was the extent of my experience with vegetables when I was a kid. But my grandmother tried whatever she had to get me to eat vegetables, putting them with things, adding things to it, whatever she needed to do. But this was a special recipe. So the way I grew up hearing this recipe or hearing the name was green bean casserole. But green bean casserole is not probably what it was called, because green bean casserole is that casserole we have at Thanksgiving or at Christmas with the cream mushroom soup and the French fried onions and the canned green beans and all the things. That's traditional green bean casserole. This is a different kind of green bean casserole. This is an all-in-one type of dinner. It all goes in one casserole dish. And to me, it's comfort food in a pan. So on the stove right now, I've got a pound of ground beef cooking up. It's browning for me. I'm gonna cut up the rest of my potatoes. I've got a few in the pan right here. We're gonna boil some potatoes. You can see what direction this is going, but let's finish our potatoes. So I've got one last potato to cut up. This is a pretty good size one, so I'm gonna cut it a little bit smaller. I searched and searched on the internet for this recipe. Unfortunately, my grandmother was never somebody that wrote things down. She never did write down her recipes. So a lot of my favorites, I either have had to remember how to make them, or I've had to ask people, I've had to search the internet for something even close in the ballpark of what was in it. That's been the only way that I've been able to recreate some of my favorite recipes of my grandmother's. So over here, I've got my potatoes. We're gonna go ahead and get those turned on. We need to get those boiling because we are making mashed potatoes. But this is the base of our casserole. Now, seasonings back in the 70s when I was a kid, and probably the 50s when this recipe was in cookbooks all over the place. It was in so many cookbooks back in the day. Seasonings were very simple back then. They didn't do any of the fancy stuff that we have now. So I'm keeping it very, very simple. It was the way my grandmother made it, that's the way I'm gonna make it. I'm still in Pantry Challenge. If you're not familiar with what that is about, I will leave a link in the description box for you guys for Pantry Challenge 2024, so you guys can check it out, and I will share the rules in that video with you guys so you know what I'm doing. But I do not have any fresh onion in my house, so I'm still using the dehydrated onion from Costco. I'm gonna put in a little bit of onion powder along with our granulated or our minced up onion. I'm gonna put in a little bit of garlic powder. We're gonna add a little parsley for color. Not that you're really gonna see it, but I think my grandmother always put parsley in it, so we're gonna add some. We're gonna put in some fresh cracked black pepper. That was always my grandfather's favorite thing, was the fresh cracked black pepper. My husband's the same way. He loves fresh pepper. Do a little bit of salt. All right. So here comes what make this green bean casserole. We need 1 can of cut green beans, and we need a can of tomato soup. Yes, I know. Some people are gonna go, what? That's an interesting combination. It is, but it's so good. And I can remember eating this on Sundays after church at my grandmother's house. It was my absolute favorite thing. I would get so excited when I knew that Grammy was making green bean casserole. This, when I found it on Pinterest, I searched for this recipe, and I think I searched under hamburger green bean casserole, I think is what I searched. And that popped up only 2 results in the searches, which I was really surprised. Didn't get this quite cut open. So I looked at those recipes. There was 2 on there. One of them was not it. I immediately could tell right off the bat that was not the recipe she used. The second one actually was. So I was excited when I found that. I was like, yes, this is how she made it. So I'm gonna drain my green beans real quick. Let's add our green beans. We're gonna put in our can of tomato soup. This goes together super, super quick. It has to bake in the oven, so I can remember, you know, back when I was a kid, my grandmother would make this casserole on Saturday night. She'd make it, she'd put it in the refrigerator, and it would sit in the fridge and hang out until we got home from church. And then she'd put it in the oven, and that's what we would have for Sunday supper with some homemade bread. I did not have time to make homemade bread today because I had to work, and we are getting ready for company this weekend, so I have not had a lot of time. All right, got all of our soup out, so we're just going to give this a stir. Our onion, our tomato soup, our ground beef. So if you wanted to add extra things to this, you definitely could. If you wanted to add, you know, something else to this besides the green beans, you could, but that's just, I'm trying to keep it really simple because this is the way my grandmother made it when I was a kid. And I'm trying to keep it very true to her recipe and not change anything. I think I am going to add just a little bit of water. I should have kept my can. We're going to put just a little bit of water in here. I just want to loosen this up just a little bit. All right, so I think I probably put about a half a cup of water in here. Just to loosen this up just a little bit. It already smells good. All right, this is gonna go into our casserole dish. All right, so here is our green beans, our ground beef, and our tomato soup. It smells so good, friends. It already smells like my Grammy's kitchen, and this has not even been in the oven yet. And this casserole is going to go in the oven just like that, friends. It's so quick, it's so easy, but it's so comforting and it's so tasty. All right, so our potatoes are done boiling. They're nice and tender. I drained the water off, and I put them back in our pot with the lid on it. Set it back here on the burner off, not on. The burner is off. We don't want to burn them. Just gonna let them sit here for just a second while I get some half and half and some butter in my mixing bowl. Typically I will do a rustic mash with just a potato masher, but my grandmother always used her electric mixer for really creamy mashed potatoes for this specific dish. So I'm gonna do that. I want it to be very authentic to the way my grandmother made it when I was a kid. So let's get some butter and half in our mixing bowl and get our potatoes mashed. So I have just a little bit of butter left on this stick. I'm gonna get this off my counter. I have another stick of butter. We're gonna put in about half of this. So typically when I mash my potatoes, I mash them with cream cheese and sour cream and butter and all the things. But like I said, I'm trying to keep this very authentic to the way my grandmother made this recipe and not change it too much. So we're gonna put in a little bit of half and half. I don't wanna put in a ton yet because I wanna make sure that I don't overdo it, and I want liquid potatoes. let's get our mashed potatoes into our bowl. Put on our paddle attachment. I'm going to put in a little bit of salt. And let's turn our mixer on.
So let's come together, celebrate each
It's mashed potatoes. It's got to have butter.
and pray. Lay all our love before him with all of our faith. He is the change with
We've got our casserole ready to go. Our mashed potatoes are done. Let's get this finished. So my grandmother used to make this in a huge casserole dish because there was a bunch of us to feed. But I'm gonna take it, I'm just doing, like I said, a small pan because it's just my husband and I. So I don't need to do a huge. But she always did these dollops of mashed potatoes on it, because then they start to get these beautiful little brown bits on top that almost get a little bit crunchy, and it just makes it so good. All right, and just like that, our casserole is ready to go in the oven. It's gonna bake at 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. Everything is cooked all the way through. We're just gonna heat everything, brown up our mashed potatoes just a little bit, and this is gonna be ready to eat. All right, friends, this smells incredible. I can't wait to eat this. I'm gonna pull this out of the oven. My husband just called, said he's on his way. He should be here in about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna get this out of the oven. And this, friends, is a classic from my childhood. I can't wait to go eat this, friends. It smells, I said this before, I'm gonna say it again. It smells so good. Smells like my grandmother's house. That's what this reminds me of. I'm so excited to go eat this. Just that little bit of browning on top of those mashed potatoes is gonna make this so tasty. Simple dish, simple ingredients, super inexpensive. This right here, with just the way I did it, will feed 6 people easily. And so we're gonna go sit down and enjoy this. As I said, friends, this video is a collaboration with my sweet friend Angel McMillan. Go check out her channel. I'll leave it in the description box to go click on that. Check out her channel. Check out the playlist for all of the YouTube channels that joined in on this collaboration, and go check out them. Show them some love. And if you are here from the collaboration, I'm so glad that you're here. It means so much to me that you would come and check out what I'm cooking, what I'm doing in my kitchen. Friends, we are so close to 1,000, so close. I think right now we're at 957, I think is where we're at. So we're hoping to get that in the next few days, get that last push to those last few subscribers, get those last watch hours in there, and hopefully reach that goal. I cannot wait to give away a set of these pots and pans to some lucky subscriber from my channel. So be looking for that live as soon as we hit that 1,000. My husband and I are gonna do a live and give away a set of those pots and pans. But friends, it means so much to me that you guys take time out of your day to come and spend time with me in my kitchen. Come hang out with me, see what I'm cooking. I appreciate you guys, I love you. Your support means so much to me. And friends, I'm gonna show you this one more time. It's hot, I'm gonna show you again. Make this. Go make this for your family. Look at those potatoes, look at the peaks on them. Is that not beautiful? Can't wait to go eat this. Yes. All right, friends, we will talk to you guys in the comments. Have a great day, and God bless.
Oh, pray.